Some sounds are meant to be heard. Others should remain buried in silence. From the screams that haunt the innocent, to the voices of a species lost forever, to the echoes from the deepest corners of our oceans, these are 5 recordings that defy explanation, that stir fears in even the most rational minds. Listen closely, and whatever you do, leave the light on.
Have you ever watched the movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose? The movie itself is terrifying, showcasing a young girl plagued by evil and fighting for her life against an unknown demonic entity. But it's all fiction, right? Well, actually, the story itself is loosely based on a true story, one that will make you fear anything that goes bump in the night. In 1976, a young woman named Anneleise Michel died after a series of exorcisms. The case would become infamous, inspiring books and films. But the recordings from her final days are far more disturbing. This is the real audio associated with the case. A sound that captures something profoundly human and terrifyingly inhuman. Listen closely.
Alles Himmel müssen sich beugen, derer die im Himmel auf der Erde und unter der Erde.
Jetzt muss der auch was davon ohne was babbeln.
Gib mir den Namen durch, wisst es. Gib mir den Namen durch.
Der auch was davon ohne muss jetzt babbeln.
Du musst mutiger sein.
The voice trembles, sometimes pleading, sometimes snarling, as if more than one presence occupies the same body. Psychology suggests extreme epilepsy and psychosis may have contributed. Yet, those who hear the tapes swear there's something else. Anneleise went through over 67 exorcisms, all sanctioned by the Catholic Church. Each time they did the exorcism, these voices would erupt from her malnourished frame, shaking the very bones of everyone within the room. And to this day, no one can truly explain the sounds heard on that recording. Sadly, Anneleise passed away from malnutrition, and both her parents and the priest who conducted these exorcisms were charged with negligent homicide. But all those present during these rites swore that the true reason Anneleise passed away was because of the possession that plagued her. While some believe she was truly possessed, others claim this is nothing more than a horrific lie, a way for her family to justify why she so tragically passed away. The questions linger. What is consciousness, and where does it end, when the mind itself seems to fracture into something else? We often think of animals as predictable, bound by instinct, confined to the limits of their nature. But what happens when chaos erupts? What happens when a once beloved pet turns into a crazed, wild animal with a bloodthirst to attack? That is exactly what happened to Travis and his owner, Sandra Harold. Harold had adopted Travis when he was only 3 days old, whisking him away to a domesticated life in Stamford, Connecticut. As the years passed, Harold and her husband viewed Travis as a member of the family, a beloved pet, and a constant companion. They claimed he was domesticated, that he was tame and calm. But what they learned on February 16, 2009 was this: you can take the animal out of the wild, but you can never take the wild out of the animal. On that fateful day, Sandra called Charla, her best friend, to help her get Travis back into the house. She claimed he was acting strangely and wanted to get him inside the house for safety reasons. Nash arrived at the home at 3:40 p.m. and noticed Travis was in the front yard, not a place he usually was found. She brought out one of his favorite toys, a tickle me Elmo, and tried to coax Travis back into the home, back to safety. But this is when Travis snapped. Sandra watched, horrified, as her beloved pet began viciously attacking her friend. She tried getting Travis off of Charla, hitting him on the head with a shovel, and eventually stabbing Travis 3 times. This did nothing, and he continued to ravage Charla. Sandra realized she was powerless against the animal. She ran inside and called the police, frantic and panicking.
Stand for 911, where's your emergency?
Oh, this is Sandy. 241 Rock Crimin Road.
What's the
Send
problem?
the police. Send the police.
What's the problem there?
The chimp killed my friend.
What's the problem with your friend?
Oh, please.
What's the problem with your friend? I need to know.
Send the police up with a gun. With a gun. Hurry
Who
up.
has a gun?
Please hurry up. He's killing my girlfriend.
On the tape, the voices of the victims, frantic and desperate, collide with the cold professionalism of emergency dispatchers. When the police arrived, they had no other choice but to shoot Travis. They shot him as he stalked the yard, dripping in the blood of his victim. He ran into the house and was found in his bedroom, gripping the bedpost as he died. The Chimp Attack 911 call is a raw, terrifying recording of a neighborhood attack. A chimp, once domesticated, turns violent in an instant. Experts point to the dangers of keeping wild animals as pets and the inability of humans to predict true animal behavior. But the terror you hear here, that is primal, pure, and undeniable. While this story is horrifying in its own right, it does have a brighter ending. Charla survived the attack. She's had multiple surgeries, including a full facial reconstruction surgery. She now lives in an assisted care facility where she listened to audiobooks and music to help pass the time. She remains optimistic and sees her process as one that others can look to and hope, especially soldiers returning home and facing similar struggles of reconstructive procedures. She offers simple advice to those facing the challenges of disfigurement. To quote Charla, "Don't think about the past and what has happened. Think about what you're going to be, going forward, and what you want to do next. Never give up." It's a reminder that some instincts, when pushed beyond their bounds, cannot be controlled, and sometimes humanity is just an observer of its own fragility. April 26, 1986. A date forever seared into the memory of the world. Deep inside the control room of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the operators carried out their duties under the low, buzzing lights. Instruments flickered, warning lights blinked silently, and the faint hum of machinery filled the room. To anyone watching, it seemed like just another routine night. But in reality, they were counting down to one of history's most catastrophic disasters. These are the recorded calls made just hours before the explosion. Calm, measured voices discussing normal procedures, a night like any other, unaware of the horror that would erupt minutes later. Every conversation, every instruction, every casual remark is a snapshot of humanity on the precipice of disaster. There's no panic, no alarm, only ordinary life carrying on, as if time itself had yet to recognize what was about to unfold. Listen carefully.
Оперативная машина на выезд.
Что там такое?
Танечка, иди сюда, быстрее, наша атомная горит. Ой, мать. Алло, это ВПЧ-2?
Да.
Что у вас там горит?
Взрыв на главном корпусе, между 3 и 4
А там люди есть?
Да.
Люди есть, да?
Да.
И в результате взрыва что там горит?
The operator's calmness is unnerving. Their focus is precise and professional. There's no indication that their lives and the lives of countless others would soon be changed forever. The tragedy of this recording lies not in chaos, but in its banality. For these men and women, it was routine. For the world, it became apocalyptic. Even decades later, historians, engineers, and scientists have pored over these tapes, dissecting every word, every pause, searching for signs of foresight or error. But what makes them truly haunting isn't the technical detail. It's the human presence, the laughter, the sighs, the mundane instructions, echoing across time from people who had no idea they were living through history's worst nuclear disaster. The calls reveal something chilling, a world continuing as usual, oblivious to the storm approaching. There's an almost unbearable tension in hearing their normalcy, knowing what comes next. The recordings capture more than voices. They capture lives frozen on the edge, humanity suspended in the calm before the unimaginable. What haunts us here isn't just the event itself. It's the innocence of those who faced it. Minutes from disaster, unaware, speaking to each other about procedures, weather, or small workplace details. A quiet normalcy about to be swallowed by history. These recordings remind us that sometimes the most terrifying moments are not heralded by alarm, but by the deceptive calm of routine life, moments before it all comes crashing down. Not all disturbing sounds roar with violence. Some whisper tragedy. Some cry out in loneliness. Some are haunting because they mark the end of something that once thrived. The Kauaʻi bird once filled the forests of Hawaii with its unique song, sang its final notes in the early 1980s. Recordings captured that last, solitary voice, a call echoing through the empty mountains, unanswered and alone. No mate returned it. No chorus joined in. Just a single song, fading into the vastness of what was once a vibrant world. Listen closely. You can almost feel the weight of the forest itself. The leaves seem still, the air heavy, as if nature itself mourns the loss. Scientists study these recordings to document a species gone forever, yet there's a deeper, darker truth here. In that silence, in the space after the last note dies, there is a sound no one can ever recreate. The sound of absence, of endings, of life slipping quietly away. It is eerie, it is haunting, and it serves as a chilling reminder. Not all horror is loud. Some horror comes in the form of what is missing. A voice gone, a song never sung again, a silence that speaks. The Kauaʻi bird's final song is more than a note lost to time. It is the echo of extinction, the mournful cry of solitude, and a warning to all who listen. Even in the quiet, even in the absence, the world can make itself known in ways far darker than any scream. Finally, we descend into the abyss. Far above the sunlit waves, beyond the reach of human eyes, the Pacific Ocean conceals mysteries that have baffled scientists for decades. Among these mysteries are the Upsweep Sounds. low-frequency noises captured by underwater sensors, rising and falling in hypnotic, otherworldly patterns. Unlike whales, dolphins, or even distant submarines, these sounds are different. They are continuous, structured, almost deliberate in their cadence. Oceanographers have listened for years, debating their origin. Some suggest tectonic or volcanic activity, subtle movements of the Earth itself. Others simply shake their heads, unable to explain the phenomenon. And a few refuse to speculate at all, speaking only in whispers, aware that some questions are better left unanswered. There's something deeply alien in these recordings, a sense that the ocean itself is alive, sending messages from a darkness we cannot reach. The sounds rise like ghostly pulses, echoing through the deep in ways that feel almost sentient. Listening to them, you can sense the vastness of the deep pressing in around you. A reminder that humanity is small and fragile in the face of the planet's hidden expanses. The recordings evoke both awe and unease. There is no melody, no rhythm we can claim to understand, only a rising, resonant hum that climbs and fades, like a language we are not meant to comprehend. It is not music. It is not a scream. It is not a warning. And yet, it unsettles in ways we cannot explain, as if the ocean itself is aware of our presence. Listen closely. The upsweep is a voice from the deep, a voice from a world we can see only through instruments and imagination. It is evidence that the planet is alive in ways we do not perceive, that darkness is not empty, that silence is never truly still. These noises defy logic, existence itself seeming almost impossible. Each note rises through the crushing, sunless water like a question we cannot answer, like a reminder of the secrets humanity may never uncover. And as you listen, one truth becomes unavoidable. The ocean is watching, waiting, speaking in ways we are only beginning to hear, in frequencies that remind us how small we really are.
5 recordings. 5 glimpses into realms we were never meant to witness. Some scream in terror. Some whisper in sorrow, and some hum with a mystery older than we are. They linger in the mind long after the sound has faded, a reminder that the world is far darker and far stranger than we often care to see. Tonight, we've listened to what few dare to hear, and yet, even in the silence that follows, the echoes remained. They wait, watching, listening, whispering. So remember when the shadows stretch and the night grows still, listen closely. The wind blowing outside your home? They might be whispers beyond our wildest imagination. Or worse, something trying to get your attention. Don't say I didn't warn you. And please, make sure you leave the light on.